Hey, welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff. This is Saturday morning rant sessions. I hope you guys are prepared for that. There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. Now, the big question here is why am I glittery? That's really funny. Look at that. I'm like all glittery. But anyhow, the big question is I guess we're going to have to live with that. Something going on with the camera. But the big question here, XRP ISO 20022 compliant or not? Is it? What's going on? What is the big concern here? Because there are some conversations that have been going on. And even right now, there's conversations in the chat. Why is XRP not ISO 20022 compliant? But we're going to address that here in a minute. There's Bitrue yields and Shiba's DAOs and Shibariums and all sorts of things that are going on in this market. And many times when we look at bear markets, because you could say, hey, you know what, the market is going through a trend, a downturn, some of it's going up. But overall, when you look at the bear market, you can look at this as a discount buying opportunity. Is it playing with fire? I don't know. There's a ton of stuff that we want to get into right now. So if you guys are ready, we're going to kick this thing off. So let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
All right. Welcome back. So very cool. It's very crazy. What's going on with the shirt? Yeah, it's kind of crazy getting all the glitter here, but that's okay. We can live with the glitter. All right. So ISO. So hands loaded right off the bat here, throwing it out there. ISO 20022 is a messaging standard, not a payment standard. So that's what we want to address. And we're going to dig into that in a little bit because it's not really clickbait. It's more of an understanding when we talk about the different terms that are being thrown around and we begin to understand the space and we begin to really address the concepts here, then it's also important to, throw out when there's concern, when there's potential misunderstandings, or there's a little bit of a discourse within the space that's discussing these specific points. And so that was really the idea here is we need to hash it out and discuss it. And actually, the reason why I put that up there is because there was a long Twitter discussion over that. And we're going to highlight that here in a minute. We're going to go through it and then we're going to have a discussion right here in the group. So, that way you guys can throw it around. So I think that's the most important part. I want to see kind of everyone discussing and, let's see how that chat goes. Because the one thing that we know over here on the chain is that we have by far the best, the brightest, and the most well-informed subscribers and commenters pretty much in all of YouTube. So I think that's really important. So I think that this is really, really key. So you guys discuss it, and then we're going to go through the Twitter conversation where this was brought up. All right. So that's going to be important. But I want to start out with something here that was actually, there's always a little bit of disappointment. There's always a little bit of, FUD being spread around in the space. And we want to kind of look through it, kind of get an idea of, what that really means and how does that really impact, everything that is going on. So let's do that. So hang on a second. All right, I had to pull up the other article over here from that I wanted so that we can actually go through it. So we're gonna have the whole thing with all of the ISO 20022. Make sure that that's here, and then we can jump into it. Okay, so all right, cool. So there's going to be, some interesting discussion here and we definitely have to hash it out. But all right, so I've got that prepped, got everything prepped, and we're going to hopefully come to an end understanding of this whole ISO discussion, and maybe we'll even have more questions. So let's get into this. Here, hold on a second. Here we go. All right. So I want to start off first and foremost with this article that was over. Got to share my screen. I'm going to start off with this article that is. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Boom. Okay, so this was on CNBC. Now, I think that, as we dig through this, there's a couple things that are happening in this space, right? So, what's really, really critical as we kind of dig into some of the things happening in this space is that people are overall, when we look at crypto, right, it's more of a speculative investment. So, now when we look at speculative investment, when we look at the risk involved when investing in cryptocurrency, when investing in in digital asset, and what is your risk tolerance? Now, risk tolerance will go so far as to the point where your exchange gets hacked, right? So is your risk investing in a a speculative investment, does that kind of butt up against the idea that your exchange also needs to be secure? Or are you speculating on the security of the exchange? Now, I look at this article and there are a couple issues that I have right away with the title of the article. That they say, first of all, an Iranian immigrant lost 53,000 in a crypto hack, and he says that he faces ruin if BitMart doesn't pay him back. Now, I'm trying to figure out why does it matter that the individual is an immigrant? Why does it matter that he's an Iranian immigrant? What matters is that he's an individual investor that lost $53,000 when an exchange was hacked. So, yes, it's nice we can learn where he's from, but now he potentially faces ruin. Now, there's some things that he may have done that put him at a higher level of risk, but being on the exchange, does the exchange owe him some level of assurance or even insurance to say that if the exchange is hacked, that they will make sure they're protecting the interest of the investors? Now, when we look at that, if they have to, protect the interest of the investor, then where's the money, right? So if they get hacked, at what point do they return the money to the investor? Now, in this situation, BitMart was saying, okay, they had a $200 million hack. It's been about a month plus since that happened. They vowed that they were going to return the money. Now, a month earlier, BitMart wrote in an official statement that it would use its own money to reimburse the victims of this large-scale security breach, which exchange blamed on a stolen private key. So definitely some issues. Now, this also goes back to, and I don't really know BitMart, never really, I never ever logged onto it, so don't know what their, what the utility of it. I don't know how, what kind of customer base they have. I don't know much of it. Now, the problem is, that if you're going to put your money onto an exchange, you're going to invest on an exchange, then you also want to make sure that the exchange is reputable. And so this has been happening. It's happened multiple times in the past. We saw that Quadriga or QX, I think it was, over in Canada, where they actually, the CEO disappeared with the ledger, and he was the only one that held the key to also a large scale, multi-million dollar wallets, and people lost a lot of money. Here, if the exchange is hacked, they have to do the right thing or they're gone. And so we have to have some semblance of reliance on the exchanges that we're using, whether it's an Uphold, a Coinbase, or a Gemini, or a Bitstamp, or a Bitrue or a Binance, or, the list goes on and on and on, that we have to have some reliance on these exchanges, that they're going to keep our money safe. And so when they get hacked, then we have to say, okay, the exchange gets hacked, but are you then going to back up the funds that I've been keeping over there? And, Hydroponic Allens is bringing up an interesting point. He says, that's why I keep my money on a ledger. I don't stake my crypto. I don't lend it out. I only hold it. Now, there's some, significance to that statement, so here we have, an individual. So we have $200 million that was hacked 5 weeks ago. So over a month ago. This Paul DeLong is a business owner over in Austin, said that BitMart, from a communication perspective, they said that they were going to give us more updates. We've not received any updates. Now, he's reached out to the exchange multiple times, and each time he receives a canned response from a bot to inform him that BitMart and their attorneys are working on it. I'm sure they are. Now, in early December, they said in an official statement that it would use its own money to reimburse the victims. But so far, you're worried, right? So like DeLong is saying, it doesn't matter. Is it $20? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? Doesn't really matter. They need to communicate back and do what's right. Now, most of the victims that lost money seem to have happened within SafeMoon. Now, SafeMoon built on Binance Smart Chain. Many people out there have dabbled or invested somewhat in SafeMoon. There was obviously a little bit of an issue here. Now, so when this is where you start getting concerned, because as CNBC reaches out to BitMart to see if they're going to do what's right, the CEO's email on an unverified Twitter profile. Now, not all CEOs are going to have or not all individuals, doesn't matter. You're not going to have a verified Twitter profile if you don't go through that route. Now, it's unverified, but the email bounces back. So they tried to reach out to him before, bounce back. I don't know why they think it wouldn't bounce back now, but a spokesperson out there saying that they're still going to support all user withdrawals. Now, this is really concerning, because there are exchanges out, and this continues to happen. Now, the exchange just is not, again, if anyone out there has ever used BitMart or knows BitMart, go ahead and throw in some comments on this. But, I don't know BitMart, never used it. But at this point, you really have to say they need to have done what's right. They need to keep their users informed. This is kind of one of those bad marks on the space overall. And it could be difficult, when we see things like this happen, especially as CNBC is reporting on it, or you have the naysayers out there in the crypto space. They're going to want to use this as fodder for their argument. So one BitMart user said he felt his tokens were being held hostage, sent CNBC a screenshot of his exchange with the admin who runs the BitMart Telegram account. So he asked Thursday whether there was any further guidance on when they'd be receiving their SafeMoon back. They said, well, now it's when there's an update. Well, yeah. So basically they want an update, right? So here then we have Mohammed, who is over in Toronto. This is, from the title of their article, the refugee from Iran had $53,000 worth of SafeMoon token stored on his BitMart wallet. Now, I just want to analyze, this part of it, not that part, but this part. So I want to analyze that part a little bit. Now, the fact that he has a higher risk tolerance, that he's willing to take out a loan to invest in a speculative investment, knowing the risk of potential loss and ruin based on his investment, is one thing. Facing loss and ruin because the exchange was hacked and they won't give him his access to his funds is another thing. But we can single out this part, and Hydroponics Allen was referencing it. So here he has $53,000 worth of SafeMoon that was stored on his BitMart wallet. Now, $40,000 of this came from a loan that he has to pay back with a 4% interest. Now, he may very well have leveraged crypto in order to do this. And he's paying 4% interest in order to leverage his crypto to take money to reinvest. Now, I know there's others who have done that. I know others that have lost significantly doing that, whether the exchange had a technical issue and they weren't able to top up in time or for many different reasons. But this is, when you're trying to leverage, money, and you're then going to potentially you're in a very highly speculative space, and you're at risk of loss. That's a whole separate conversation from the hack. I get it, Matt. I'm so glad that you're here, because you are going to be a topic of conversation from your tweet. So that's our next topic. So I'm glad you came in, and it's going to be an interesting conversation overall. So welcome, Matt. Glad you're here. So anyhow, this is, it is concerning. So here you have, he's talking about, his $20 an hour job, all the things that he has to do. But and he was, to me, if we were just going to focus in on this aspect of it, just the risk that he took, that would be, again, that's a whole, conversation of itself, that he was risking on a speculative asset like SafeMoon that could go way up, that could go way down. He was trying to run for the fast money, and probably not the right, maybe a very bad decision, because you're already in a position where you could lose a significant amount of money. But in this scenario, really the whole focus needs to be the fact that BitMart themselves is in the wrong. So here we have another BitMart user tells CNBC that it's not just his money at stake. His mother and mother-in-law pulled together $30,000, asked him to invest the cash in BitMart on their behalf. Now, I hate to say it, but in this scenario that I'm looking at, as people are pulling large sums of money together to invest in a very highly speculative asset, if in fact they're all investing in SafeMoon, it was all a major run up for fast money. Now, the one thing that we know is that there are no such things as shortcuts. Now, some people, have that risk tolerance. They can take 7, 8,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million, whatever your risk tolerance is. And if you lose it, oh well. And so that is where you invest in that speculative asset and maybe, gain, the big gain. But in this scenario, I'm seeing a lot of people that have already put themselves in a very bad position, based on how they're pulling money together to invest, not on a positive, not on a positive exchange. And I was going to say Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini or Uphold or one of these exchanges that you can have some reliance on and confidence in, or like Celsius, if you're gaining interest. But there's such a level of risk here overall. And I'm seeing comments here, like Sophie was saying, let me get my cursor back. Sophie's saying, not your keys, not your crypto. Michael Otto, exchanges are not friends. You have to be, relatively careful on how that is, on how that's doing. But at the end of the day, BitMart has to do what's right. Here's another one, a Kansas-based crypto investor. He has around 35,000 stuck in BitMart, told CNBC he's not worried, or he wasn't until recently. The big concern that I see is that the CEO of BitMart, his email is bouncing. To me, that's very, very disconcerting. This same BitMart customer now says he's in touch with around 6,800 holders who are considering filing a class action suit against the exchange. Now, beware the Safe Moon Army. The company's vagueness has helped fire up the so-called Safe Moon Army. The BitMart hackers made off with a mix of more than 45 coins, but Safe Moon tokens accounted for a hefty portion. So a lot of the Safe Moon investors that were holding on BitMart are the ones that are mostly impacted. But the one thing that we're learning from all of this, is that when you mess with the crypto space at large, and the SEC is finding that out when they went after Ripple and they went after XRP, they're finding that it's very difficult because now they have a lawsuit against the SEC with 63,000 plus XRP holders. And so what they're realizing is that you're seeing, and actually we took a snippet of a podcast with that John Deaton was on, and they were referencing also the political power that is now in the hands of the crypto space, which is massive, right? The political power, the political its fuel is unbelievable. The political capital is really unbelievable right now in this space, and it's highly impressive. So BitMart has been put on notice that they have to do what's right, and now we'll see what happens. Now it's out there. Lots of crazy things going on. So anyhow, I thought we'd highlight that. This article keeps going and going and going and going, and it's there's a lot to it, a lot of emotion. So now Matt Hamilton's here in the chat. I'm going to bring up this Twitter conversation that went through, and then I want you guys to just comment in the space, and we can discuss and kind of go through what was brought up in the conversation. Now, I guess as we go through it, back in December, there was an article that was posted on Investor Place, ISO 20022 cryptos. They make a statement. There's 5 compliant cryptos to keep an eye on for 2022 in terms of the ISO 20022. Now, they look through it and they single out 5 specific cryptos here. But here it says the U.S. government is helping greatly expedite the adoption of the ISO 20022 standards. The Federal Reserve is saying now that the Federal Reserve will adopt the standard in late 2023. The backing of the Federal Reserve Board and SWIFT gives ISO 20022 significant backing. Let me pull this article over here. So then they get into the ISO 20022 standard does threaten to get in the way of some cryptos. There are a number of experts who believe adoption of the standard will get in the way of cryptos like Bitcoin and keep them from becoming ubiquitous as international money transfer plays. However, that's not the case for a handful of ISO 20022 cryptos. There are 5 digital currencies that adhere to the compliance requirements, making them apt plays for the year to come as SWIFT adopts the format. So they adhere to the compliance requirements. 2 cryptocurrencies are not just compliant with ISO 20022, they're members of the ISO standard body. These currencies are Ripple. And so this is where we really need to dig in. I would love to get some feedback from Matt on this one, because what we're showing here is we're not showing the assets. We're talking here, there's a company, Ripple, that has a product called RippleNet that is adhering to the ISO 20022 standards. And then there's Stellar, the organization that also is adhering to the standards. Now, the question is, does that mean that the assets themselves will then become compliant? Does that mean that XRP is compliant? Does that mean that XLM is compliant? If they adhere to the requirements, does that make them compliant? Does it, do they factor in to that standard? So, you know what? I realize I forgot to share my screen. Sorry about that. So Ripple is the first of the 2 to be added to this body, opening up standardization for distributed ledger technology. Stellar is part of this body through IBM. So now what we're seeing in the article, where there could be some confusion here, and I'm seeing a lot of confusion in the space at large, because what we see is we see discussion over these different assets of Ripple being interchanged with XRP and Stellar being interchanged with XLM. So here's a good point here. So Matt, the point is that Ripple is part of the standards body, and RippleNet understands and uses the ISO 20022 standard, but XRP itself is or is not compliant is a bit nonsensical. And so that's why we want to get into that part of it, because there's so much conversation over the idea of these assets being compliant. And so that's where, we just have to get some clear understanding. It's so important to have a clear understanding of what we're talking about. And, so then we get into it. Other cryptos that are compliant with the standard include XDC, IOTA, and Algorand. Now, are they talking about, in this case, again, are they going to go to XFIN? Are we talking about IOTA? Are they talking about the asset? Are they talking about the protocol? What ties all these cryptos together and differentiates them from non-compliant cryptos is their focus on streamlining international wire transfers. Now, so this is where we're getting confusion. And this is why, it's not just clickbait, but it's important to discuss. It's so important to dig in and understand the dynamics of what we're talking about. Because if we're going to focus on, on these aspects, and now we have this is up on Yahoo, an article digging in. And so are all of these platforms focused on streamlining international wire services, wire transfers? And is it the asset that's focused on international wire transfers, or is it the companies that are focused on international wire transfers? So this again, it gets murky, and we have to understand this. And so for all those that are saying it's clickbait, they're upset, because XRP, but we have to understand what XRP is. We have to understand XRP, and we have to understand Ripple. We have to understand Stellar, and we have to understand Stellar Foundation from XLM, as we have to understand XFIN from XDC. That's the whole point, that we have to get a good, clear understanding of what we're talking about. And so when we put it out there, you can be upset. That doesn't mean it's clickbait. It means that we have to understand what we're talking about and have a good, clear, whatever. So let me go to the next comment here. This is good. So here we go. Here we go. So Matt is saying, so hopefully, ultimately, with the wider adoption of ISO 20022, Ripple and RippleNet are in a good position, and the fact that they use XRP is good, right? But that doesn't mean XRP itself is compliant. XRP has no specific features for ISO 20022. So there you go. And now Joy is saying, you're causing all the confusion with your XRP fearmonger. You make 0 cents. Really? Jay, I'm making 0 cents. Jay, we're discussing it right now. We're explaining it. We just looked at the article where there's confusion. You guys, we have to understand it. And Matt is bringing up very good points. I was going to go back to the Twitter conversation, and then Matt shows up. So I figured, hey, now Matt's giving us the comments here. And this is so important. XRP is a great standard. The XRP ledger is probably one of the best platforms that's been developed to date, and something that can continue to grow and build. And that's what has attracted so many people to understanding and wanting to now further build utilizing the XRP ledger. We see the benefit of the XRP digital asset, obviously, for multiple reasons. We see what Ripple's doing. We see what Ripple Net's doing. It's important that Ripple and the Ripple Net platform utilizes the XRP ledger, is using XRP, for multiple different reasons. Um, and so, that's why I think it's really key. So, Matt says saying XRP is ISO 20022 compliant is a bit like saying petrol is a highway code compliant. Is highway code compliant, and that's the point. And this is good. It's awesome. So there's no issue here. It's just a matter of understanding. That's what it means. And I think this is important. This is really important. Matt, it's awesome that you showed up. If we have standards for roads that allow more road traffic, more cars, etc., then you could take the position that is good for those invested in petrol, but that doesn't mean that petrol is compliant with the standards. Right. And so, and this is interesting in itself, so, but you could have environmental standards, and then your petrol, your gas has to meet and exist within and be compliant to the environmental standards. But the transactional standard. So I think there's still going to be some confusion. So really, so all right. I like how Ron is saying you're causing confusion. No one else is confused until now. Well, the confusion is all over the place. So I think what we need to do is really dig into the ISO standards. I need to study the ISO 2002 specific. Not sure if it's layered standard like ISO 7 layer, interconnect model and specs application layer, or lower layers. Yep. So don't worry about it. Bank of England has passed XRP and the Bank of International Standards too. ISO compliance doesn't mean anything. It can be changed. So RJ Gonzalez saying here, common sense, XRP is a medium of exchange. ISO 20022 is messaging. So the code on the communication is the one that needs to be compliant. I like it. Good stuff. I love the conversation. This was really the point. We need to bring it out. And there's so many great comments here. So okay, so let's see what else we got. Let's see. I'm looking through the comments. Here we go. Michael Atu says, what I don't understand is why Ripple can't just send XRP airdrop right into customers' wallets instead of going through exchanges. Interesting. Sneaker says there's no highway if there's no petrol, though. Why would there be for bicycles? There could still be a there could still be a highway for bicycles. Fiat's if you want to look at the if you get it, you get the you get the petrol run vehicles could be like the crypto and the fiat, kind of like the bicycles. I like it. So this is great. Let's see. Cool. Dodgy thumbnail. Dodgy thumbnail. The thumbnail had a picture of the Bitrue logo, which we're going to talk about, the XRP logo, which we're talking about, and the Shiba Inu logo, which we're going to talk about. How is that a dodgy thumbnail? Ron. So, all right, let's move on. That was it's good. This is the type of discourse that we like to have in the chat. So that's it. All right. By the way, anyhow. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. There's a lot of great stuff here. So, all right. So the next point here, I wanted to reference. Now this is interesting too, because this goes back to the semblance of, I don't want to say, confusion necessarily, but there's definitely something that is going on as we kind of trend through, all of these discussions, and to look at, what is, I guess, what's happening, overall in the space. And there's so many, differences of opinion. If we look at Michael Saylor, we look at his passion for Bitcoin, and obviously doubling down multiple times over. We've got products and companies out there that are creating interoperability and multi-chain and cross-chain application. Then you have people like Vitalik that are coming out and saying multi-chain's good, cross-chain is bad. We've got airdrops. Some are going well, some are stumbling and tripping over themselves. And then the attention gets focused on the airdrop and not the project. So it's amazing, what's happening, and it's exciting at the same time, right? And so I want to go through a few of these things. I'm trying to find the article. For some reason, the one article that I'm trying to pull up is gone. But anyhow, let's go through this one and we'll get into it. So here you have, and this is interesting, right? So this is chess grandmaster Gary Kasparov is saying cryptocurrencies are the future and could replace the dollar in about 10 years. So, and we get a lot of these conversations, right? So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this guy. I'm looking at Gary Kasparov, and he's saying, hey, you know what? The future is bright for cryptocurrency. Michael Saylor is saying the future is bright for him, maybe just Bitcoin. Gary Kasparov is looking across the board, and he's saying, why are people being drawn to cryptocurrency right now? Why are people being drawn to Bitcoin right now? Mainly, right now. So you have chess grandmaster Gary Kasparov has said he would not be surprised if cryptocurrencies had replaced the dollar in about 10 years, and has hailed digital assets as the future. Obviously, he's one of the greatest chess players of all time, but he thinks crypto such as Bitcoin are digital gold and can hold their value as inflation rises. Many are seeking a hedge to inflation, right? In particular, he said cryptocurrencies are a good tool for people to fight back against what he sees as government overspending. How about government overspending, government overprinting? He says is leading to strong inflation that erodes the value of assets. We've seen this over and over and over again. The democratic countries in America and Europe, trillions of dollars will be printed, right? So I'm not happy to see the government as a free hand to use my taxes, basically to devalue the dollar, which is what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a complete devaluation, of the dollar based on the overprinting and the excessive inflation. And so if you're looking for a hedge against that inflation, and so many people are warning against inflation. Now you have those that are in favor of gold investing and silver investing. Then you have others that are looking, for the future, and they're looking for, cryptocurrency as a hedge against everything that's happening right now. Michael Saylor, Gary Kasparov, and it's interesting because at the same time, while we're seeing, these types of discussions, we're seeing, others like, and now, where is, oh no, that's not it. Not it. Is this it? The confusion. Oh, with this one, okay. So here's another one that I thought that I think is really important. Now, it's interesting because again, this factors into this idea of inflation, right? And so, why are we seeing a push towards why are decentralized stablecoins becoming more and more attractive? Now, we're going to bounce around. We're going to bounce around a little bit through all of this right now because so here, we have a lack of crypto regulation, uncertainty of crypto regulation. Uh, we have government officials that are fighting over who should be in control in the U.S. anyways, who should be in control of uh, cryptocurrencies. We see a debate between the SEC and the CFTC right now. We see complete lack of understanding, maybe a little bit of a growth in the understanding within Congress, but overall, still a little bit of some naivete and ignorance on the crypto space within government. You have players that may have an ulterior motive that are not looking for the best outcome for the crypto space and may also see the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin as a threat. They look at and they want to make us believe that it's a threat against the sovereign powers of a country over currency. Yet it's more about their overall centralized control of money flow. But here in this scenario, I'm looking at, so we have crypto regulation concerns that are pushing people more to stable coins, and yet stable coins seem to be at the epicenter of this concern over crypto regulation. So you have a concern over USDT and USDC, which are more centralized, and then pushing towards more decentralized. I mean, everything is so still in this kind of state of confusion, and that's where it's still a little bit murky. We're still kind of new in this space. We have to understand and we have to hash all this out. And one of the things Chip and I talk about is why it's so critical for us to also understand the geopolitics of everything. Why is it so critical to understand the proper terminology of everything? Because if you don't understand the terminology and you don't understand the geopolitics and you don't understand the financial impact, the economics from a national perspective, from a nation state perspective, then you're putting yourself in an even higher risk category in the crypto space. Why is it that there's 63,000 plus individuals that have joined onto the lawsuit that Deaton is leading? Mainly because people have been awakened to the fact of the overreach of the SEC on XRP, and they're gaining an understanding and gaining the momentum of the power that's being held, that's in the hands of crypto investors. Now, you can invest strictly in meme coins. You could just look for the next get rich quick asset and try to be in and be out in the investment. Now, if you're going to look for the next get rich quick, none of this is really for you. It's not going to matter because you're already setting yourself up for failure. There is no get rich quick. There are individuals out there and some that have been lucky, but the more you're at it, the more opportunities you have to lose. Just like there's no quick get rich quick in the stock market. There's always highs and there's going to be lows. We saw within the meme space, with GameStop, with Wall Street Bets, we saw a lot of people make a lot of money, and we probably saw people that ended up losing money. The thing is that over the long term, when we look at the cryptocurrency space, we look at the development, we look at the growth of the crypto space. There's more to it. It's not short term. People are going to look and try to get that short-term gain and they're gone. But when we look at what the meaning of all of this is, right? Because we're looking at a cryptocurrency like Kasparov is saying, right? In the article, where'd it go? cryptocurrency is the future, right? He sees crypto as the future. And, he might not be wrong. He might be right. He might be correct here. And he's saying that he says that crypto could replace the dollar within 10 years. But if you're into get rich quick, you're in and out. You don't care about that. You don't want to learn about that. You don't want to learn about the development of the space. It's not as meaningful. But overall, and that's what attracts so many people. And when we see the comments in our during the live stream and post live stream, is that people care and are passionate about XRP. That's why people came in here so fired up today, which is awesome. We need to get some fired up emotion in it as well. Why? Because there's a lot at stake. Regardless, ISO, not ISO, the most important aspect of everything that's going on right now is to have a true understanding of the direction that we're moving in. It also means that we have to have a real clear understanding of, what is the impact of government and, overzealous regulation is going to have, on this space. I mean, I'm shocked that people are so concerned about it. I mean, I really am. It's amazing to me. Grow a pair. It's just like wake up. I mean, what can I say? It's so easy to critique, but gain some understanding, have some discourse. Don't be so weak. It's amazing to me. When you're gonna have a discourse, and it's crazy. People want to sit back and just have their comments. It's amazing. We've got Matt Hamilton in here. And he's got some very, very key information, and he's brilliant. He's working in the space. And it's great to have him here participating with us. Everybody should be here to take advantage of everybody else that's in here, because there's brilliant minds in here. I'm not saying, I'm the most brilliant. I'm not. There's much brighter and smarter people that are in our chat. And Chip and I sit here, we banter back and forth while we're learning from people in the chat too, which is outstanding, right? But the point is that, man, there's so much going on right now. We brought this up the other day with the metaverse and the NFTs and, the DAOs and the yield farming and, exchanges that are getting hacked and stealing people's money, and ledgers and trust lines. And I mean, it goes on and on and on, right? Staking, wrapping. Well, I mean, it's amazing, right? Now you have all this stuff is jumbled up in people's brains, right? And now, we got to figure it out. So that's it. I mean, that's the passion. That's what's important. I don't care if I had to use clickbait or not. It doesn't matter, which I didn't. But even if we did, it got you to get inside, come into the chat and get fired up, right? And show your passion and throw some comments in. I've seen people now today commenting that I've never seen throw comments in before. I mean, it's great. Property Rich had commented on one of our videos the other day. I gave him some feedback. Wants to talk about the airdrops, right? So Property Rich wants to talk about the airdrops and why, not all the assets are going through the exchanges. Why are some exchanges holding on to the airdrop when it should be released to their clients, right? The investors, the ones that are holding the asset. So if you're holding the asset on an exchange and they're using your asset and collecting the airdrop themselves and not releasing the airdrop to the people, then there's something wrong with that exchange, right? There's something wrong in general, right? So Property Rich said, hey, this is passionate. Here's what you should do. I said, Property Rich, if you're passionate about it, get fired up. Why don't you come on, live with us and we'll hash it out. We'll talk about it. We'll fire people up and we'll have a mass number of people reach out to these exchanges and say, where the hell's my airdrop? We know for a fact you got the airdrop. Why aren't you releasing it to the people? It's not about us. It's not about Chip and I. We've just been, able to help create a platform that has amazing people as part of this platform, as part of the community. The on the chain community is awesome. We love every one of you guys. Whether we agree or disagree, we can agree on which assets we like. We can disagree on which assets we like. We can agree or disagree politically. It doesn't matter, because the discourse is the most important part. I love it. I know it fuels Chip. It fuels me. I can have conversation at every level on any topic, and I'm never going to get, upset at somebody, at the end of the day. It's fun. It's fun. And Ralph Raymond, he's saying, just for the record, I'm easily the smartest person in the chat. That's awesome. That's outstanding. So look at, again, I'm reading this chat. It's hard. So let me take a break. I forgot to tell you guys to grab your espresso before. Maybe we didn't have enough. I don't know. All right. Let's what time is it? Oh, look at that. We got some time. We have got time. Now, if you're over in Hong Kong, your funds are being frozen too. Unfortunately, it's crazy, but hey, that's what happens when you're over in Hong Kong, I guess. Several users of Hong Kong-based crypto Borsa Coin Super filed police reports indicating they can't withdraw funds from the platform. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. The problem has occurred in late November. 5 of the trading venues customers explained to the media they were unable to withdraw a total of $55,000, an amount consisting of digital asset and cash. Looking for a solution, they filed reports with the police. A Hong Kong police spokesman said they're investigating another case. An individual purchased crypto via an investment company, was unable to retrieve her funds since December. It even handled approximately 18.5 million in volume, the exchange that's tying them up. Stuff all over the place, right? That's all the FUD that's out there. It's amazing. Michael, I'm not putting myself down. Not at all. I would never do that. So anyhow, all right. Oh, here we go. Is this it? No, that's the bottom. Here's another one. Where's the, check this out, right? So in India, right? Over in India, they've got, they're super confused. They don't know what they're going to do in India, but in Pakistan, which I'm actually shocked to see what's going on over in Pakistan, right? Pakistan likely to earn billions from cryptocurrency. This is interesting. According to a document produced by Pakistani Policy Advisory Board, the country is likely to earn billions of dollars from crypto asset holders. Yet for this to happen, the country first needs to create the appropriate regulatory framework. Really? No kidding. Regulatory framework. Look at this. Now, Pakistan's looking at it from as a country perspective, like, holy crap, we can make billions off of the people. But they need some clarity, just like everywhere else. A little bit of clarity. Don't shut it down. Take advantage. Make it possible. And maybe even a country like Pakistan can start attracting a mass amount of investment into building in the crypto space. But Pakistan may potentially raise billions of dollars from crypto assets held by its nationals or by residents with dual citizenship. That's interesting. How are they going to do it? That's what I want to know. They could, look at this. They could use Pakistan. I don't know how they're raising this money, but we're going to Pakistan could use the crypto assets to help boost the country's reserves. Hell yeah. Put it into Bitcoin. Maybe that's what they all want to do. That's what Ray Dalio is talking about, how they can make it illegal. Like they made gold illegal. Maybe they can start taking everybody's Bitcoin because they're going to make it illegal. And I've heard people talk about that. However, before it adopts the recommendations of the policy document, Pakistan needs to craft a regulatory network as well as a national crypto strategy. They better do it quick. Got billions of dollars at stake. They got to protect the country's interests. They see the writing on the wall. They see the writing on the wall. Concerning the volatility of crypto, the policy document reportedly recommends the recognition as an asset class. Look at this. Look at that. Man, they want to recognize it as an asset class. In addition, the report also explains how crypto exchange traded funds, ETFs, are likely to attract domestic and foreign investors. You think Pakistan is getting this based on what we're reading? Such a crypto ETF could ostensibly help the Pakistan Stock Exchange regain its position among emerging economies. They get it. They get it. This report gets it. This is amazing. Wow. It's amazing. The business report reveals that the Financial Action Task Force, the FATF, has similarly called on Pakistan authorities to consider regulating crypto over in Pakistan. On the other hand, the report argues Pakistan's failure to adopt crypto could result in cryptocurrency holders moving their assets to countries that are more friendly. Look at this. Where is Daddy G in all of this? Why is Gary Gensler being so antagonistic against crypto? Look at Pakistan. Look at so many of these countries that are in this development stage that want to be in their emerging economies. It used to be developing. Now they call them, emerging economies. Pakistan is still in that emerging economy stature. India could still be considered there, but their economy has potentials to boom. India could be a powerhouse right now. India could surpass China as an economic powerhouse. India has the population. India has the brain power, the education. India has everything that's needed to surpass China to a level like we've never seen before. Pakistan needs to, kind of start moving in that direction as well. There are a lot of things that held back the Pakistani economy, obviously, as we've seen regionally. But now they're looking at crypto. India is trying to ignore cryptocurrency, trying to crush it somewhat. Pakistan's looking for a way to take advantage of it, to grow their, it's amazing to me, right? To me, it's amazing. I'm looking at this. I'm saying this is awesome. This is really, really cool. So, yeah. All right. So this is great. This is great. Okay. So what else? Oh, do we have time here? I got to get to this other stuff here. Oh, is this the hedge? Here it is. This is the one I wanted to put up. And I got to put this up real quick. Then we got to get into the Shiba DAO. Shoot. There's all this garbage on these websites. Can't do anything without pop-ups and garbage and all sorts of stuff. Few ads, but come on. It's out of control. I keep meaning to use the Brave browser. I just instinctively go to Chrome. Ray Dalio's fears for Bitcoin. Ray Dalio is the founder of Bridgewater. Reported to News Bitcoin. He reiterated his opinion Bitcoin may soon be outlawed, as has happened in the past. I mentioned that before, so I wanted to bring that up. Governments, in his view, want to have monopoly on money, so they fear Bitcoin now, and as they feared gold. Bitcoin is not going to be money. I think we can all agree that Bitcoin can be a means of a hedge against inflation. Could be a good place to put your money. Not going to replace money. Not going to happen anytime soon. Although we see what's going on in El Salvador. They're using Bitcoin, accepting Bitcoin, using on the Lightning Network, I guess. But overall, I think to scale, I see other assets filling that void if that had to happen. But I think it's important. We want to look at this. I wanted to bring this one up. I'm probably not even sharing my screen. Forgot to share the screen. Again, forgot to share the screen. There's so many clicks I got to click. But anyhow, so there's fear of of all of this stuff. And I get it from a national perspective. Governments want to have sovereign control over the monetary system of the country. Otherwise, they lose sovereignty. So it can be important. But I'm looking at Ray Dalio's fears, and then we're looking at, why people are getting pushed out of stable coins because of uncertainty with crypto regulation. Then we're looking at Grandmaster Gary Kasparov saying cryptocurrency can replace the dollar in 10 years, and this is the future. And then we look at Pakistan, and they're like, there's billions of dollars, and we can participate and be a leader within the emerging economies. All right. And then you've got the BitMart hacks, and then you got the Hong Kong hacks, and you got all this stuff going on. And it's just like, holy crap, there's so much going on here, and so much concern, so many great things. Then you got people talking about Bitcoin. If we hit a bottom yet, what's the bottom? What's the top? Where is Ethereum going to go? Is Ethereum, is it on the right track? Is it not on the right track? Are there other projects that are going to displace Ethereum? Is there going to be an Ethereum killer? It's kind of like, is Burger King going to offset McDonald's, or Coke going to offset Pepsi, or Nike going to offset Adidas? And then all of a sudden you have all these other sports companies that pop up. And then back in the day, you had Reebok. Does anyone even, care about Reebok anymore? Do people really, everybody's going to Under Armour? And then, for running shoes, there's a whole slew of different running shoes out there. And you don't want to use Nike running shoes because they're garbage. So you're going to go to better quality, but yet they still said that conversation is old and stale, and it's been going on forever, and it's going on in the crypto space. It's like, is one better than the other? Microsoft versus Chrome versus Apple. There's always going to be iOS versus Android, VHS versus beta, the CD formats, the DVD formats, the crypto formats. All these debates always ongoing. Which one's the best one? You know what? Right now, what we need to do is focus on the crypto space at large. How do we build out and develop the crypto space? And what is the passion? How do we understand it? And the most important part, which is what I was saying earlier, we have to understand the impact from the governments on all of this. And we have to come together. And again, not to belabor it, but just like with John Deaton's suit, 63,000 people, which is great, going there. So hang on one second. Bitcoin to 100, ETH to 5,000. Okay, I'm looking at this article. Bitcoin bottom at 37.5 en route to 100,000. Michael Saylor doubling down on Bitcoin. El Salvador's doubling down on Bitcoin holdings. All sorts of, it's just on and on and on and on. Flare Finance dropped their XFi. Trading just started, I guess, recently with XFi on Thursday. And now check this out before we go, because this is like, we go from a meme coin to a universe, or not. It's not a metaverse, but an ecosystem, I should say. So we've got Shiba Inu to reduce gas fees for users after launching its own blockchain. The Shiba, right? Shiba Inu's ecosystem is growing daily. Look at this development, right? So the Shibarium, their own ecosystem, they are moving away from Ethereum. Where's it going to go? So Shiba Inu has been going down and down and down, right? But it's going to come to Uphold. Second week of January, Shiba Inu is going to Uphold. And so all these things are going on. Shiba Inu has a market cap larger than Robinhood. So with Shibarium could be in its final stage, didn't give any specifics. The founder, Ryoshi, proposed Shibarium in May 2021. As many of you guys might know, that they've been working on their own blockchain, and they're moving away from it. Why are they moving away from Ethereum? Because gas prices are ridiculous. Way, way, way too expensive. Snakes for the law. Michael Saylor, soon to be Michael Trailer. Straight out the trailer. It's crazy, right? So users have complained about the ETH fees. Shiba Inu's Shibarium Layer 2 network plans to undo the burden of high gas fees by providing solutions from its in-house blockchain, just like Binance with the BSC and all sorts of stuff. Amazing stuff. I mean, it's astonishing that Shiba started as a meme coin, got some traction because of Doge, and now look where it's going. It's crazy. Amazing. It's really, really amazing. Good stuff here. Man, I'm so glad you guys were here. Thank you, Matt Hamilton, for chiming in, adding your commentary. Very, very key, very critical to the conversation. And for all those of you guys are here that you had some good discourse. I think we all discussed some great topics today. Looking forward to seeing you guys back on tomorrow night. Chip and I be right here co-hosting On the Chain. And by the way, if you guys are registering and signing up for Getter, you can find On the Chain over on Getter, which is really cool. Hands, I have no idea. I have no idea what layer one. I think layer one may have been their first launch. Who knows? I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. As long as you got layer two, who cares about layer one? Layer two is so much better. So much better. There might never have been a layer one, but you put layer two out there and you just sound like you're in the know, sound like you've been developing and things are awesome. You know, layer three is, you know, that's just a little out of control. If you launch with layer three, people are going to say, what happened to layer two? But if you launch with layer two, people are like, yeah, I get it. Layer two. Let's go. We're all in favor of layer two. But we'll check you guys back out here. We stream 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be back here tomorrow night for another night of fun and discourse and who knows what else. But we'll check you guys out on the next one. I'm out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.